Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. Today I've got a little bit of a treat for you. In our VO's Journey Elite Academy, every single day I put out a video that I call Word of the Day. And these are training videos just for the Academy members. And with it being Friday and everything, I thought that and it being in the morning, I thought this would be a great opportunity to show my YouTube community the some of the things that we're putting out in the Academy. This video is we're talking about things that you can do to warm up when you begin, because it's so vital for all of us to do warm-ups to get ourselves prepared to be the very best that we can be during our recording sessions or our day. So I wanted to just share with you this video. Enjoy. And again, there'll be a link below if you're interested in being a part of our Academy. But thank you so much for watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great early Mother's Day. All right, bye. Take a moment today to talk about the beginnings of your recording sessions, which I think sometimes is the most important part, and that often I overlook to speak about. But I want to tell you about some of the things I do, warm-ups, ways to get yourself prepared for the recording day or the session that you're going into. Just like a person in sports, or a person who does a physical activity even before you're getting on stage, or getting on screen. There's always, they always warm up. They warm up their body, their muscles, our voices, and also our minds. There needs to be a level of concentration that we get to when we go to perform. And I find that there is a set of warm-ups that I do, that I've done for years, and I used to teach actors, and works the same way. So let's kind of go down the list of things that you can do when you get started. I mean, I know we all, on a side note, we all can get a fast job and run in and do the best we can, and that's, that clearly that's okay. But I do think that there comes most of the time, we can work on getting ourselves prepared to be the best that we can be at our voiceovers. So with that being said, I always, always, always start out with stretching. And I know this might sound strange, especially if you're a voice actor who sits while they read. But remember, it's not just about the physicality, because remember, when we're doing voiceover, we are using our body physically. Because remember, physicality, outward motions, okay, bring out inward emotions. All right, so remember, outward physical motions, okay, our physiology brings out inner emotions. We do this as we talk, as we explain something. We do this when we cry, all right? We hunch up and we get down, and it just gets really sad, right? We cry. Or we're trying to be authoritative or tough, or, critical of our children or something. What I mean? We get upright, no one goes around being happy with their head down. Right? I mean, we're happy. Our faces are up. Our noses are up. It's, we have a smile on our face. It's important to stretch your body so that you loosen up all those muscles, that feelings. Simple things like, yes, you start out by touching your toes. That's a good thing. Stretch yourself out. If you're getting a little older like me, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself, because it can be painful. I love this old... what was it? It was an old, I can't remember what it was, but it was an old comedy sketch, and one of the jokes was, that that you're older, that you keep getting older by the level of noises you make when you stretch, like when you bend over to touch your toes. You know what I mean? Like oh, or like you get out of bed or something, the level of noises you make. But it's, you know, it's true. But I definitely start with that, you know, stretching out your legs, your back. But your arms, your upper body. This is extremely important for what we do, I think, more so the upper body. So simply like even pulling your arms across, all right? Putting your arms behind your head. You know, and taking your elbow right behind your head. And, you know, those are good stretches. You know, hold it for a couple seconds each, stretch it out a couple times. Then move your neck. Now, be very careful about this, but I like to do, you know, around the circles and things like this, just to stretch out my neck. And then I go into my facial movements. Now, just on a side note, not only does this help us physically, but it also gets us mentally prepared. All right, it gets us mentally prepared to do what we have to do. It gets our mind in the right place. All right, we are both physical and mental beings. So those two combined, they have to be combined to work for us to work properly. So anyways, after, you know, we get some upper body stretches as well, then I like to move into the face. So the first thing I love to do with my face, all right, is I like to start stretching. I always think this is funny when we do this. You try to show someone you're doing this, but I think it's important. And I know we do some warm-ups in some of the acting classes, but you know I'm trying, and but I just wanted to show you the things that I'm doing. You don't have to follow exactly the warm-ups I do, but you should have some routine. And the importance about the routine, right, is getting into that specific. You know, getting into that specific mindset of what you're trying to do that day, right? Because a routine allows you to constantly get back to a mental state that you want to be in when you're trying to be your best self, right? So routines are very important for us. So anyway, starting with the face, you want to really, really stretch out your cheeks, your mouth, really get that going, okay? Next thing is, you know, I really love to start to purse my lips, you know, really get this. So first I like to do, you know, like when we first the cheeks, you know, big smiles. I mean, it's supposed to be funny. It's not supposed to look brilliant. All right, but, you know, but start to purse your lips, get your lips going, all right? And then start cooing. Open your mouth, get it stretching your jaw and everything. Also, remember, too, higher pitch and lower pitches that you want to do for voiceovers, a lot of that comes from opening the back of your throat, opening your mouth, letting your jaw drop, the back of your tongue, open the back of your throat. All right, so like back here, opening, you can see how my voice automatically goes down. You see what I mean? But when I start to close that off and I shift my voice to the upper register or to the upper part of my mouth and push it forward, even a little bit more nasally, okay, you can see how the higher pitch goes up because I'm constricting my throat. In music, we're taught a lot to use our diaphragm, all right? And, you know, because we need that extra power or breath capacity, all right, and longevity. But as voice actors, yes, we need that. But remember, we need to be able to manipulate our voice. And a lot of times when we're speaking, especially since what we're trying to do is be more conversational, right? Then the challenge comes into, well, people don't go around with, you know, talking like this with their, you know, with big booming voices because they're pushing really hard from their diaphragm. So a lot of times we actually manipulate our throat. All right, by opening it, closing it, squeezing it, you know, positioning, you know, the voice in different parts as well as your mouth. So it's important to stretch all of that out, all right, and to get that going. That's a good place to start. Can you do the? Absolutely. Get your lips, anything that gets blood flowing to this area, because if you haven't noticed, but if you've gone into somewhere cold or done something, you know, and you mess up a little bit, you're having a struggle reading as much, then that happens, okay? But this way, you get that blood flowing to your mouth, to your facial expressions, and it really, really helps to warm up everything. Now, after you have done the stretches, it's really vital, and I would do this every day. You know, if you have ever read, you know, An Actor Prepares from Stanislavski, you know, I was always blown away by the attention to the craft, right? The non-relenting work on bettering ourselves. And part of that work comes with our voice, especially as voice actors. I work with a lot of voiceover artists, as you know, and most of the time, well, all of us, you know, I work with people all over the country and the world, and, you know, we all come from different places with different accents. The key for a voice actor or an actor in general is to be able to represent or imitate real life, right? Imitate real life. And in order to do that, we need to be able to speak clearly, speak exactly how we want to speak, the way we want to speak it, when we want to speak it. So to do that, we have to make sure that we are doing things like pushing the boundaries of our speech. A great way to do this is always the fun tongue twisters, okay? Tongue twisters work wonders, especially if you do them on a daily basis. When I was working on stage, I mean, every single day, we would always work on our bodies. We would always work on our voices. And if a good book to check out is from Uta Hagen, and she's another famous acting coach, and I love her work. And let's see, the name of the book is. I'll have to get back to you the name of the book because she has a couple out. But she talks about, you know, it is a given that we're always consistently working on ourselves. All right. But it's important that we do it daily and push our limits of how well we communicate. And I like to do tongue twisters daily because without knowing, you know, right, because it's over time, you are going to get better and become more aware of what you are doing with your voice and with your words. There are times when we as voice actors, performers, have to make a point, okay? And in order to make a point, there are physical changes. There are things we do to words, phrases, sentences, etc. And then there are other times where it's supposed, you know, it needs to be a lot more subtle and not as in your face. So it's really important for us to be able to pull back, to not be so voracious, if you will. And being able to manipulate your voice and the use of your faculties is key to being, I think, booked a lot more. Okay? Now, I want to take a moment to just point out, too, that you have to start somewhere, right? It's always, I think, easy to forget when you've gotten to a level of success where you started and how confusing it was. So if you are starting, it's okay. You know, if a lot of these things make no sense, or they're difficult, or, you know, it's goofy, you know, even like with the tongue twisters, they can be a variety of anything. Yes, you can do Peter Piper. Now, here's the thing with Peter Piper and tongue twisters, real quick. I digress. But the thing with Peter Piper is, right, so Americans, a lot of times we are going to use D's and replacing the T's, like Peter instead of Peter, right, with a T. The key here is when we're doing these exercises, we want to overdo them. So if I say, you know, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, I want to slow that down, overdo it, open my mouth, all right, and make sure that every word is pronounced correctly. I wouldn't do this when I was doing a voiceover, but I'm doing it now so that I can train myself to be able to do it if necessary, be aware of it, right? And also inadvertently help myself, like, because I just said inadvertently instead of inadvertently, right? I can hear and change what I'm saying dependent upon what voiceover and style is needed. So Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Here I am making sure that I'm saying T's, not D's. I'm also finishing the consonants at the end. Very important. And I would say that if this is not something that you usually do, give yourself a break. You're going to mess up. It's fun. That's what I love about these two. Things like, you know, blue blood, black blood, blue blood, black blood. You know, there's so many different, I have so many funny ones too, but we'll leave them. But you could just simply, I have a blog post on it. You can look online. You know, they're free. There's so many. But the key here is that you are doing these on a daily basis, so you're more aware of what you are doing and what you are not doing. So then once you are aware, you can control it. And when you can control it, we can offer it, right? So now that we've kind of gone through all of, you know, stretching, working your stretching your mouth and your neck and everything, and then getting into doing vocal work with tongue twisters, I'm just throw it out there. I don't think it's a bad thing to do some singing work or some vocal work when you know using your voice, even if you sing poorly. You know, like the many mumbling mice, or making merry music in the moonlight, mighty nice. Like we go many mumbling mice. There's, I mean, you know, I'm not a music coach, but you know, throughout my career and having done a lot of singing too, you know, that helped. Anything you can warm up, the better. Okay, anything that you can do to warm up yourself mentally and physically, the best. All right. I do want to go in. We'll go into later. I'll go into another session about some great tips and techniques to work on by yourself, getting better at being realistic upon call. It can be very difficult to deliver something as, you know, realistic. And remember, when I say realistic, don't forget it's still heightened life. Drama is heightened life. I always use the adage, you know, if you're in if you're watching a movie and a woman is driving home and it takes her an hour and a half to drive home, but the last 3.5 minutes she gets into a car accident, right? And, you know, the cars are on fire and an ambulance comes and a fire truck and they have to rush their hardest and get the jaws of life, and the car's about to explode and everyone could be in serious danger, might even die. We don't want to watch the hour and a half of the woman driving home singing Taylor Swift. We want to watch those last moments, right, where there's heightened life. It's important that we understand. That was kind of morbid, but not just an example. But we understand, okay, that we are supposed to still be real ourselves, but in a heightened manner. So all these things we talked about today, they go to helping us as performers call upon those moments or those different emotions and feelings so that we can share them. All right, you guys, listen, I hope that this is helpful and that you're going to have a great weekend. It is the 6th, which means that Sunday is Mother's Day. So all you moms out there, happy early Mother's Day. I hope you have a great weekend with your friends and your family, and you deserve it. Thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful day. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.